Hello student, today we are going to study Geography, Class 8, Chapter 2, Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife Resources. This is the third part of this chapter. In the previous two videos, what we have discussed till now is the land, the use of land, the soil, the use of soil, water and the conservation of water. But now in today this third video we have discussed about the natural vegetation and the wildlife resources. In the previous two videos what you have learned, like in the land, if we talk about the different texture, different soil color, different parent rock, all we have discussed about the land, like how we are using land, what kind of minerals we used to get and how much it is beneficial for us. If we talk about the soil, there are the different kinds of the soil from which there is the parent rock, then the different texture, then all the minerals, vegetables and that we used to get from the nature. So we discuss about this soil. If we talk about the water, that we already discussed about the water, that the water is the most important part of our life. Like if the 30 percentage of the land on which all the population, all the people used to live over there, and they used to drink, they used to get the water from the river, from the lake, from the pond, on which we all the population are depend on. So these are the certain things which we can say that these are the things that that can help us, that what we have to do and what we do not have to do, how we have to conserve the water. So all this point we have discussed so far in this in the previous two videos. This is the third part of the video. Now what we have to cover in this video, the first one is the distribution of natural vegetation. Then we have to discuss about the evergreen deciduous, and where we have to discuss about the conservation of natural vegetation and the wildlife. In the previous video, the last we have stopped where the natural vegetation, the wildlife sanctuaries and the ecosystem and biosphere we have discussed what the natural vegetation is, what the wildlife is, what the biosphere is, what the ecosystem is. Now we are going in detail by line what the things are. Come to on page number 17. This first you can see this image. This is of the silkworm. How they from the cocoon we take out the silk, and for that from with that silk we used to make a silk sari. Now come towards this natural vegetation and the wildlife exist only in the narrow zone contact between the lithosphere. What the lithos means? Lithos means the stone or the land, which you have learned in 7th standard in chapter 1 in the year 1 what the lithosphere is. If we talk about the hydrosphere is the water, and the atmosphere, that the air, that we call as the biosphere. In the biosphere living beings are the interrelated and interdependent on each other. In the previous video we have discussed the immediate surroundings, and we are interdependent and interrelated with each other. The life supporting system is known as ecosystem. Life supporting systems are like, you can talk about the air, you can talk about the water, you can talk about the food, the natural surroundings which we get from the nature, that is called the supporting system. Vegetation and the wildlife are valuable resource. These two resources like natural and the wildlife are the utmost important part of the human life as well as the animal's life. Like plants provide us the timber. If you think what the timber means is the wood which we used to get from the nature. It will give the shelter to the animals. That is also a fact that plants and the trees, they used to give the shelter to the animals, produce oxygen we breathe. Yes, the trees and the plants used to give us the oxygen. If we talk about the protect the soil, so essential for growing crops. Yes, the trees and the plants used to bind the soil, which by which they used to prevent the soil erosion. Means जो ट्रीज होते हैं, प्लांट्स होते हैं, वो मिट्टी को बांध के रखते हैं जिससे सॉइल इरोजन नहीं होता है. एक्ट एज अ शेल्टर बेल्ट, हेल्प इन the storage of underground water. Yes, tree used to help us to store the underground water, by which when the rainwater used to come, the root of the trees, of the plants, they used to collect the water and they used to make a piggyback inside the earth. I'm using the word the piggyback. Why I used to use the word the piggyback? Because जिस तरह से हम गुल्लक में पैसे इकट्ठे करते हैं, उसी तरह से नेचर और आप कह सकते हो कि लैंड वो जो है पानी अपने अंडरग्राउंड में कलेक्ट करता है. That's why I'm using the word the piggyback. That for in the future purpose, if we need a water, we can dug up the land, then we get the water. Then give us the fruit, nuts, turpentine oil, gum, medical plants, also the paper that is so essential for your studies. Like for our studies, for your studies, we need a paper. So all these things we used to get from the trees. This is essential. There are the innumerable use of plants. You can add some more. Like there are the numerous of uses, the ways how we can use the plant, how we can use the trees. So you can add more on it, like what we have to do, what we do not have to do. These are the Brahma Kamal, a medicinal herb. This is the plant you can see, and a blue kingfisher. These are the two pictures which you can see. This is the example of natural resources, and the downside is the example of wildlife resources. Now come towards this, the wildlife includes the animals, birds, insects, as well as the aquatic life form. Means this exclude the animals, the bird, insect, the aquatic life, or you can say the mammals as well. They provide us milk, meat, hides and wool. Insects like bees provide us honey, help in the pollination of flowers. That is also true. The insects, or you can say the birds, they used to help us in a many ways. If we talk about the bees, they provide us honey, help in the pollination of the flowers, and have an important role in the play as decomposer in the ecosystem. They used to help us in the nature as a decomposer. What the decomposer is, if the particular insect or particular animal or the particular human, if they used to die, it used to eat up their, like you can say the human mass, the human flesh, by which it is decomposited. Vulture, due to the ability to feed on the dead livestock. Now, the next one is the distribution of natural vegetation. The growth of vegetation depends primarily on the temperature and the vegetation. Now, so far we have discussed about the wildlife animals, birds, insects, as well as the aquatic form. All we have discussed in this that like all the animals, like whether it's from the plants in which there are the insects, if we talk about the animals, if we talk about the birds, all these are used to come together and help us that what we have to do it. Like the distribution of natural vegetation, the growth of vegetation depends primarily. Like this one is the topic, the distribution of natural vegetation, how we have distributed the nature in the particular distribution. The growth of vegetation depends primarily on the temperature and moisture. This is the fact that the natural vegetation depend on the temperature and moisture of the particular place or the particular surrounding, where which the major vegetation types of the world grouped as the forest, grassland, scrubs and the tundras. In the area of heavy rainfall, yes, where you find the heavy rainfall, if we talk about the India, the heavy rainfall in the Meghalaya. So you found the huge trees, huge grasses and many kind of the vegetation you will find over there. The forests are thus associated with the area having abundant water supply. As the amount of moisture decrease, the size of tree, their density reduce. Short stunted trees, grasses grow in the region of moderate rainfall, forming the grassland of the world. Thorny shrubs and the scrubs grow in the dry season of the low rainfall, and such plants have deep roots. As you can see this, the grassland and the forest picture, how it is green, how it is thick, and when there is more rain you will find big huge trees and you will find the big grasses and you will find all over the green. If you find in the dry area, like there is the low rainfall, you do not find the different vegetation, you do not find the different, you can say, the greenery. So these are the things that we can say that we do not find these particular types of things. Like somewhere where there is a heavy rainfall, you find the greenery everywhere. You find different kinds of vegetation. Where there is a low rainfall, or you can say moderate rainfall, then you find a few crops, few vegetation. You do not find the huge trees. You find the trees, but not in a huge form. You find in the mid form, or you can say the small trees or the plants. So this is where you find on this case. If we talk about the leaves of the thorny and the waxy surface reduce the loss of moisture through the transpiration. Now it talks about the थ्रोनी शब where there is a low rainfall. थ्रोनी शब means जहाँ पे कांटे वाले पेड़ होते हैं वहाँ पे क्या होता है, जो बारिश होती है वो कम होती है. प्लांट्स जो ज्यादा डीप रूटेड नहीं होते हैं क्योंकि वो क्या करते हैं कि डीप इनसाइड दी सरफेस और डीप इनसाइड दी सॉइल, वो वहां से जो ग्राउंड वाटर होता है वो उसको खींचते हैं. एंड द वैक्सी सरफेस रिड्यूस द लॉस ऑफ मॉइस्चर थ्रू दी ट्रांसपिरेशन. और क्योंकि ऊपर जो थ्रोनी बुशेस जो कांटे वाले पेड़ होते हैं उसमें से ट्रांसपिरेशन भी ज्यादा नहीं होता है, बिकॉज क्योंकि उसके रूट्स इतनी डीप होती है कि इनसाइड द सरफेस ऑफ द अर्थ वो वहां से क्या लेते हैं, पानी लेते हैं. सो टुंड्रा वेजिटेशन गोल्ड पोलर रीजन comprises of moasses and lichen. Forests are broadly classified as evergreen and deciduous depending on when they shed their leaves. फॉरेस्ट किसमें डिवाइड किए गए हैं, एवरग्रीन. एवरग्रीन उसको कहा जाता है 12 months the forest which are green for a 12 months, this called the evergreen forest, for which we call the deciduous forest. Deciduous forests are those forests which we find not, you can say, the low rainfall, you can say the moderate rainfall, and it's not evergreen for the 12 months, because when there is a autumn season, so they used to shade their leaves. You have read in the class 7 about all this thing is detailed, but still now we are going to deep in this. And when they shade their leaves, evergreen forests do not shade their leaves subsequently in any season for the year. Deciduous forests shade their leaves in the particular season. Evergreen forests, they used to shade their leaves, but we do not come to know because it's evergreen for the 12 months. If we talk about the deciduous forest, they used to shed their leaves when the time used to come. Deciduous forests shade their leaves in the particular season to conserve the loss of moisture through the transpiration. Both the types of forests are further classified as a tropical or the temperate based on their location in the different latitudes. You have learned in details about the various forest types, their distribution in the previous classes, which I already explained. You have already studied all this thing in detail in the class 7th. Today there are the many more people in the world than there were the 2 centuries back. To feed the growing numbers, large area of the forest have been cleared to grow crops is vanishing rapidly. There is an urgent need to conserve the valuable resource. That is the most important fact. Earlier we have the numerous of trees, numerous of plants, numerous of crops, which we give the different kinds of, you can say, of food, varieties of food they provide us. And after, like, if we go 2 century back, then we don't get the varieties of food because the people used to start cutting the trees in a very high rate. If we talk go further, they are like doing the experiment. Someone are not taking the nature as the utmost important part of our life. They are just deteriorating day by day. So we have to conserve them. We have to use and we have to save our natural resources, which I already explained in the previous 2 videos. If it is not there, then one day it will come that is completely exhausted, or you can say empty. It going like the, if we talk about the plants, if we can't conserve them, the one day it will come that the complete land it's become a barren land or the deserted. So we have to conserve them. Now come towards the next one is the conservation of natural vegetation and wildlife. How we have to conserve the natural vegetation and wildlife. First, you can see the loss of rainforest and Great Nicobar after the tsunami. This tsunami used to come in the year, I think 2004 or 5, in the end of the December, when there are the when the tsunami used to came, then all the desert, all the people used to die in this. Someone said that the Indra point in the Andaman Nicobar, it's used to submerge under the water completely. I think few people are left, they leave. So these are the, like, you can see how the tsunamis affected this forest. So for that, forests are our wealth. Yes, forests are wealth. यानी वो हमारे लिए एक बहुत बड़ी important चीज है. Plants give the shelter to the animals. Together they maintain the ecosystem. The plants used to give shelter to the animal and they maintain the ecosystem, because if we used to cut more and more trees, there is a less of oxygen. If we plant more and more trees, then we used to get the utmost amount of the oxygen. So we have to plant more and more trees, by which there is not a disbalance between the nature. If we get the excess amount of oxygen, it didn't going to affect us. If we have a huge trees, it's maintaining the balance between the nature as well as in the animals as well as in the humans. So we have to do a certain kind, like the certain duties or certain efforts we have to do to save our nature or save our natural resources. Changes of the climate and the human interference can cause the loss of natural habitat of the plants and animals. So there is also a fact that because of the human effort, before, or okay, I'm saying the pre, or you can say the ancient, not we are not take the ancient times, we take the contemporary world only. In the contemporary era or in the modern world, like on the day by day for the development purpose or for the booming the economy, we are using we are doing the development in a very, at a very fast rate, that we are deteriorating our environment completely. We are exhausting our natural resources completely. So we have to do that. What we have to do is we do not have to affect the environment. So many species have become vulnerable or enriched. Some are on the verge of extinction. Yes, that is true, which I already explained in this the starting of the video. If we do not save the natural resource, it's going to be exhausted. If we do not save the marine animals, the wild animals, the domestic animals, the one day will be going to be extinct. Then deforestation, soil erosion, construction activities, forest fire, tsunami, landslide are some of the human and the natural factor which accelerate the process of extinction of the resources. One of the major concern is the poaching. What the poaching is, where they used to cut the elephant tusk, then they used to take the particular tusk to the different country, and they are doing the business over that. If we talk about the shell of the tortoise, they used to take the numerous of tortoise from one country to another. For that shell, they used to do, or they used to make the medicine, they used to make the weapons. There are the number of the things they are doing. The poaching is going on day by day. If you watch the Jungly movie, there you can see how they are killing the animals with that tusk. They used to sell it to the foreign countries. There are the number of movies, there are the number of the projects which are going on. We have to stop this poaching. We have to stop the killing the animals or hunting the animals, because these are the things which is going to, if we talk about the India, it's going to happen pre-independence and the post-independence, because the people find that they have the pleasure, some of the doing the business for killing these animals. Like if we talk about the poach for the collection of illegal trades of hides, skin, nail, teeth, horn, as well as the feathers. Some of these are the tigers. Like they, for tigers, they're using their skin, they're using their teeth. If we talk about the lion, elephant, especially the tusk, deer, black buck, crocodile, rhinoceros, snow leopard, ostrich, and the peacock. This can be conserved by increased awareness. You can see this black buck also need the protection. You can see the black buck is there. If you kill the black buck, you will go into jail for a longer time. Maybe they used to send it for the life imprisonment, or maybe you have to go in jail for the 14 years, and you have to give a fine in that. So these are the certain things. If you kill any of the wild animal, any of the animal, if you kill, if you hurt them, and you are doing the business by selling their skin, their teeth, their tusks, anything you're selling, it's completely illegal for any of the human being. It's not only for the India, it's of any country. If you are killing of any animal, so we have to stop killing the animal. We have to save them, because if we can't save them, one day it will come that our nature also going to be degraded. These are the some newspaper articles which shows that how the thing, if we come towards the California, fire rage of the fourth day, hope rest on the wind easing. Forest fire kills 41 in Greece. 5 lakh flee California flies. As the California fires, there is hope the rest for it. All this thing is mentioned over the California. California is in the America. It is the comes under, it is a state. California, and its capital is the San Francisco, where it's all this thing happened. Kids with the max started massive US fire. So these are the things which we can see, like every now and then you can see in the news, you can watch the movies where you come to know how the people used to kill the animals, or how they used to hunting the animals, and after hunting them they used to sell their skin, their teeth, their body parts in the different parts of the world, and they used to do the business, and they used to earn the huge money. So these are the completely illegal, and we have to stop it. It's government's duty, it's our duty, it's the duty of the forest officers, that they do not allow any of the humans to hunt the animals, whether it's of the animals. If we talk about the birds, if we talk about the marine animals, we have to stop it, because they are also the part of our nature, and we have to protect them. Now, national parks, wildlife sanctuary, biosphere are made to protect our natural vegetation, wildlife. In the previous video, I have already explained why we are using the national park, wildlife sanctuary, that the nearby the forest, they used to make a boundary in which none of the human beings, or you can say unknown person don't allow in that. Then they what they used to make this certain barriers or certain boundaries, because they want to protect the natural resources, they want to protect the wildlife, they want to protect the birds, by which they can't going to be extinct, and we can conserve and we can stop the illegal business of the animals and the birds. Reserve need to protect the natural vegetation and wildlife. Conservation of creeks, lakes, wetlands is the necessary to save the precious resource from the depletion. What the national park is, the nature is designed to protect the ecological integrity of one or more ecosystem for the present and the future generation. Means we can preserve for our present generation as well as for the future generation, which we discussed in the chapter 1. Like the sustainable development is the same definition that we are preserving for present generation as well as for the future generation. So for the, if we talk about the national park, why are preserving the different kinds of things for the present generation as well as for the future generation? They come to know what the previous thing were. Like if we talk about the dinosaurs, that they going to exist because of some like natural act. I'm saying the natural why, because somewhat say because of the asteroid. If we talk about the nowadays, I'm taking the example of tiger. It's because of humans. If the tiger is going to be extinct, then the future generation used to come. They don't know what the tiger is. They just only see in the museum. They just do only see in the pictures. They just only see in the paintings. That like there are the times there were the tigers, but we have to save them. That if the future generation used to come, they used to come to know what the tiger is, like how it used to roar and how he's having the color, how he's having the high eyes. All these things we are going to see in this. So there is a balance in the environment if the relative number of species is not distributed. Human activity in several parts of the world have distributed the natural habitat of many species. Due to the indiscriminate killing, several birds and animals have either become extinct on the verge of extinct. Some are become extinct or some are on the verge of extinct. You can follow the one, there is a channel on the YouTube as well as on the Facebook as well as the Instagram. The name is the Animal Planet, where they show the video. I think it's in 2018. The white rhino is going to be extinct. There are only 3 now it's left. If we can't save them, then it's going to be extinct. So the scientists, what they have made to protect the white rhinos, they make a test tube baby for that the white rhino we can save them, that the future generation and the present generation as well, they know what the white rhino is. Think about it, only in the whole world or only the whole globe, only 3 rhinos are left. That is only white. I'm talking the white rhino. I'm not talking the rhinos of the Assam. I'm talking the white rhino, which is rarely found in this world. Only 3 are left. Now the next one is the awareness program like the social forestry and One Mahotsav should be encouraged at the regional and the community level. Yes, the One Mahotsav is going to be on the first level, on the second level. School children should be encouraged to the bird watch and visit the nature camp so that they appreciate the habitat of the varied species. Many countries have passed laws against the trade as well as the killing of birds and the animals. Many countries passed these laws that the killing of the birds and animals. In India, killing the lion, tiger, deer, and the great Indian bustard and peacock is illegal. Not this certain birds only. If you kill any of the wild animal, if you kill any of the birds, if you kill any of the marine animal, it's completely a crime. That doesn't mean if you're killing a dog, it's not a crime. It's also a crime. If you're doing this kind of thing, then it's not completely acceptable. You have to stop doing this, and this is our duty that we can aware the people that you do not have to kill the animals. Many countries have passed the laws to save this. An international convention, that is CITES, as CITES, has been established the list several species of the animals and the birds in which trade is prohibited. What do you mean by the trade is prohibited? In the sense, like the people used to kill the animals, hunt the animals, they take all their parts of the body and they used to sell it into the another country. So in the, so by the SITS is completely prohibited that none of the human or none of the man can take the particular parts of the body of the animal to the another country. Then the conservation of plants and animals and the ethical duty of every citizen. Yes, this is our duty. This is our ethical duty that we have to say. I've said in the first part of the video, I said in second part of the, in the third part of the video, this is our duty to conserve our nature, to conserve our natural resources and to conserve the wildlife resources. If we can't do it, if we are not aware it, we can't save it. So this is our duty, this is the government duty, this is the duty of not only of the government, it is a duty of each and every individual. It doesn't mean that only the elder people or the adult people can do it. Even it's the duty of the children as well, that we have to save our nature, we have to save our planet, we have to save our animals, we have to save our money animals, by which we can know how the beautiful this nature is, how the beautiful this planet is, and we can see everywhere there is a beauty in the nature. So Biosphere Reserve, you can see there are a series of protector linked through a global network intended to demonstrate the relationship between conservation and development. And now you're talking about the what the full form as the Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species of Wildlife Flora and Fauna. In the international agreement between the government, its aim to ensure that the international trade in the specimen of the wild animals and the plants does not threaten their survival. Roughly 5,000 species of animal and 28,000 species of the plant are protected. Like because of this, the global initiative which is taken by the number of the foreign countries, they have started this program, and by which they are used to save, roughly they are saying the 5,000 of species of animals and the 28,000 species of the plants they have protected. Bear, dolphin, cacti, corals, orchards and aloes are the some example which they have protected. So these are the things which we have learned in this chapter, is that like how we have to use the particular thing in a limited amount of form. That doesn't mean that if the thing we used to get free of cost, we can recklessly using it. Just like if we talk about the land, we talk about the soil, if we talk about the water, if we talk about the natural vegetation, if we talk about the wildlife resources, that doesn't mean we can use it recklessly. This is our duty. The things which we want, we have to use it at a limited way. If we can't use it in a limited way, the one day it will come, it is going to be complete exhausted. If we talk about the things, if we talk about the animals and the marine animals or the wild animals, it is going to be extinct one day, and some of the animals are on the verge of going to be extinct. So this is our duty of each and every individual, that we have to save our planet, we have to save the birds, we have to save our marine animals, we have to save our wild animals, we have to save each and every creature on this planet, that they are not going to on the verge of extinct. So these are the things which we have completed in the third part of this video. That the first we should discuss about the distribution of natural resources. Somewhere you find the heavy rainfall, so everywhere you find the greenery everywhere. Then if there is the moderate rainfall, you will find the not that much of huge trees. If you talked about the low rainfall, you will find the very few vegetation, or very few, you can say, the crops, very few plants, and somewhere you find the desert. And if we talk about the wild animals, you will see there are numerous of the animals all over the planet, where like some are the wild animals, some where the black bugs are there, some are the turtles are there, some are the elephants are there, where they're doing the poaching, they're doing the business of the tusk, they're doing the business of their nails, they're doing the business of their skin, they're doing the business of their bones. Like if we talk about they're doing the business of each and every part of the animals, where they used to help in the somewhere in medicine, somewhere in drugs, somewhere in the, you can say, for making of the clothes. So these are the things which are illegal. This is our duty, this is our responsibility, that each and every individual had to take part in this, and to stop this poaching, to stop the hunting of the animals, and to save our planet, because earth is the only planet where we are surviving over there, and it is the only thing which will we get, that we have to save this planet. I hope you like this video. Thank you.